I would like to take a moment before we get into today's main episode and to talk about my sponsor for the podcast. Podmatch is a new podcasting site dedicated to all podcasters. The platform helps hosts get connected with potential guests to appear on their show, as well as allow guests to find podcasts that will give them a chance to share their story. Podmatch offers many tools to help organize your page, from to-do lists to episode planning to potentially appearing on a leaderboard. Podmatch has it all. The best part, you have the potential to get paid. And who doesn't like to get paid from home? I like to. With an easy sign up, you can start connecting with podcasters and guests immediately. I have been a part of Podmatch since the beginning of May, and I have got to say that it was the best decision I've ever made because Podmatch helps your podcast grow. It helps you get connected with people that have very interesting, very compelling background stories that are just waiting for their story to be shared. So if you are a host or guest and would like to start building professional relationships, explore more opportunities, and have your story shared, I highly suggest that you sign up with Podmatch today by going to joinpodmatch.com/lethal venom to start expanding your network in seconds. I would like to give another huge thank you to Podmatch for sponsoring this episode. Now on to our main episode, and again, you can sign up at joinpodmatch.com/lethal venom to begin your podcasting journey today. Hello everyone, welcome to the Lethal Venom Podcast, the show where I talk about anything I want with the honest to God truth, no lies told. Today I'm joined by Mr. Deron Singh. He is a hypnotist who specializes in conversational hypnosis to help business owners break through subconscious blocks in a single session. Deron, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I cannot wait to hear this form of hypnosis. I've never have heard this kind of hypnosis before, so I'm interested in learning more about it and kind of a little bit about the practice that you do. So thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And just for future reference, it's Deron. So for everyone listening.
Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, of course.
Alrighty. So tell me a little bit about how this kind of hypnosis came to be. Is it kind of like normal hypnosis, or is there like a different approach you do for it?
The approach is extremely different from what people would consider a traditional approach. Uh, a traditional approach to hypnotherapy is very direct. It's pretty much giving an individual suggestions for them to be, do, or have something. So I would say that the approach like that could have worked 10, 20, 30 plus years ago. However, because we are so immersed in so much information now, we have an analytical mind that is processing more information, and where you can tell that people are becoming overwhelmed with how much information they're being bombarded with. And a good example of that is just advertisement. Everywhere you go, so a person's mind is being bombarded with advertisement and information. We live in the age of information where people have chat GPT on their phone and to their disposal and things uh, similar to that. So because of that, if you were to just tell someone, hey, you're confident or you're successful in a hypnotic state, that analytical mind has so much information about what that could mean that can disrupt them from actually believing that to be true. So with conversational hypnosis, what takes place is it actually bypasses that analytical part of someone's mind where they don't question it, because that part of their mind is, so to speak, is like asleep. So where an individual can bypass that and give someone a subtle, very um, permissive suggestion and let that sink in to where the change can happen from that. So it would be something like traditional hypnotherapy would be like, hey, you're confident, where conversational hypnosis would be something like, hey, Noah, as you sit there, just notice how everything's starting to feel. And as you notice how everything begins to feel, you might realize that you could be more confident just because of what's happening right now. So ultimately, I'm just using language to help someone bypass that very defensive, guarded part of their mind.
Do you do practices with all kinds of businesses, or have there been like, is it kind of one main focus business? Like, is it more insurance companies that you do it with, or tell me a little bit about some of the experiences you've had with some businesses when it comes to doing this kind of hypnosis.
Yeah, so I work with the business owners in to be specific. Now the industry of their businesses all vary. From I've had therapists, physicians, psychiatrists, um, attorneys, coaches of all industries as clientele, dentists, things of that nature. Um, so I work with a large gamut of business owners or professionals or entrepreneurs.
Are they open to doing the hypnosis, or do you have people that are kind of against and they're like, I don't believe that it's real? What's kind of the overall thing that they get? Are they accepting to it? Do you have to kind of explain it to them to where they kind of become more open to it?
Well, when someone's reaching out to me, they're already showing a willingness and openness to it. So, and the reason why I say that is no one's going to pay for something that they're not open to. Now, when I do have people that start this path of researching it and they are intrigued by it and they do want more insight and information of, hey, Deron, can hypnosis or hypnotherapy work on X, Y, and Z, where I'll give them my input about if it can or cannot. Ultimately, hypnosis is just a state of mind. So it pretty much can work on virtually almost anything, from releasing suppressed emotions to releasing traumatic experience an individual has, all the way to the other end of it, the spectrum of gaining something, whether it be more financial, abundance, confidence, um, to, let's see, things very similar to that.
So kind of go into detail about the process of trying to get them in a hypnotic state. Do you have to do it, and do you do it at their business? Do you have to kind of go to a private room area at their business to be able to accurately and appropriately successfully do it?
It can be done anywhere. Now, I primarily work virtually over Zoom. So all I ask a client of mine, the only expectation I have of them is to take their session in a private setting, because it's one of those things where it can be done in a party, right? But it's going to be faster and more efficient if they're in a private setting, if that makes sense. So for me, I want to have the session be as effective and efficient as possible. So, hey, private setting, uninterrupted, and you just give me your undivided attention for however long, at least an hour of your time. Oops.
I found that interesting that you said virtually, because most hip therapists or like hypnotists I've talked to, they've kind of gone through this thing of they don't like doing it over virtual because it's not the same experience. They have to be in person. Tell me a little bit about what made you decide to kind of do it virtually, and do you find it easier to do hypnosis over a virtual call like this?
Um, I started doing them virtually because when I began this work, it was right before COVID happened. So I was already attuned to virtual sessions. However, my clientele come from all around. So I currently reside in Georgia. I have clients that residing all the way on the West Coast, in the Midwest, Northeast. So for me, it's gonna be more convenient for me to do it on Zoom versus them travel to me or vice versa. Now, as far as if there's a difference, the only thing that needs to take place is the setting. So if I can tell them, hey, be in a safe, comfortable place when you're having the session, then the outcome is going to be the same. When if it were to be in a one-on-one in-person setting, the only difference is in an in-person setting, I have more control over the environment versus on a virtual call, I don't have control of their environment. So I need them to help me out and ensure that they are in that private setting, which I will tell clients, hey, make sure you're in a private setting on your own. And then sometimes I may see someone walk walk behind them in the background, or they like, oh yeah, I have my boyfriend, he's sleeping in the room, but he's not aware. Where I'm like, well, no, I private setting as in you're on your own. So that would be the only difference that I would say as far as the effectiveness of it. It's not going to alter that whatsoever.
How long do sessions usually last, or is it kind of a variety and kind of varies depending on how well the session goes?
It varies, Noah, because it depends on where they are in regards to what's transpiring in the session, what's coming up for them as well. Um, Ultimately, I'll say an average session is going to be around 45 minutes to 60 minutes. Um, as I become more experienced with what I do and become even better at it, as I gain more experience through working with more and more clients day in and day out, I become more effective at it. So ultimately, I've had sessions that were 5 minutes. I've had sessions that were 4 hours. The average is about 45, 60 minutes.
With some of the people that you've been able to do hypnosis with, what have been some clients that you've had that have really stuck with you throughout the years and that have really made an impact on you as a person?
That's a good question. Really, all my clients have impacted me over the years. All my clients, I gained so much from my clients. Sorry, I'm not sure why my video keeps cutting out. I gained so much from all of my clients, and because they're all different, they all come from different walks of life. And if there's one thing that they all have in common with one another and myself is we all have this mind that is resistant to change because change is unfamiliar, and our mind sees change as being unsafe or unfamiliar as being unsafe. And ultimately, we all want to impress that part of the mind with a new suggestion or resource so we can achieve and accomplish the things that we want. So, um, I've worked on a large variety of things that I didn't even know initially until working with a client. Because sometimes a client will uh, hire me for a particular problem, and next thing you know, the problem's so much deeper than what they actually think it is, to where it could be something as I've worked with clients that had Parkinson's before, and I'm like, oh wow. Um, Sexual performance issues to I've had some clients who've had cancer, things of that intensity.
What have been some of the more crazier things that you've had people say, okay, because I imagine when you get hypnotized clients, you have wild stories. Have you had any wild encounters with clients about stuff that they kind of want to maybe get rid of, whether it's like something that you're like, really, you called me for that?
Yeah, I've had some people. Um, oh yeah, this is a rated R, let's say. So like I've had men that reached out to me about wanting their private parts to grow. That's probably the most extreme thing I've had as a request, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not working on that. Um, so it's there has to be some ability for that particular thing to happen. So if it's a mental block or emotional block, yes. That would probably be the most extreme thing I've come across. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I've had maybe that request once or twice. That's probably it.
Pretty bold request for a hypnotist. It's like
Yeah,
it's one of those things of like, what do you want me to do about it? Like
yeah. Well, here's what's good about that, Noah, is once again, what people approach me about is not the primary issue. So if a man is telling me, "Hey, I want you to make my penis get bigger," well, okay, but it goes another step beneath that. Like, why? Why do you want it to get bigger? And let's say they're like, oh, because if it's bigger, I'll feel more confident. Okay, so it's not about your penis being bigger, it's actually about confidence. So then instead of us focusing on their penis getting bigger, why not focus on confidence? Because that's really what it's about.
where do you hope have you had any clients from overseas reach out to you and want to do sessions with you as well, or has it been kind of focused on the United States and kind of North America?
Mainly focus on the US. I think I've had some clients. I've worked with some clients in the UK, in South America, and Australia. Australia, the time difference is so much. It's like it's intense. So that's one thing
Yeah.
I probably would avoid because it's like sometimes it's 11 o'clock at night for me, and they're already in having lunch the next day. So UK is always good because I think it's like a 6 hour difference. In South America, it's not that much of a time difference. Mainly just because English is my native language. I primarily focus on that. That's really the biggest thing is making sure that um, fluency in English, so that way the language can bypass their mind.
Yeah, I've interviewed some people that are from Australia, and I've had to record episodes at like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And they go. I try to go at least an hour. Some recording late, like 10 to 11 o'clock. So I get that, but I think it's interesting to hear and see that you kind of have this worldwide kind of view and kind of fan base where you can actually dive into what happens to people in other parts of the country and other parts of the world. So I think that's a really um interesting thing to me to hear is like having people from overseas reach out to you as well. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really fascinating. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? What's the ultimate goal and dream that you would like to have when it comes to being a hypnotist?
Um, my ultimate goal is to. I mean, it's what I'm doing right now. Continue to grow my practice and work with more clientele, more business owners. I was eventually want to work with professional athletes, celebrities, actors, actresses. Um, and the reason why I say that is because of their reach. I'm all about working smarter, not harder. So, hey, I know that in my circle of influence, I knew of a hypnotherapist, and she was hired by an actress. And from that moment, it was like week after week, she's being flown around the world to work with this person and this person and this person and this person. So I think that's pretty cool that you work with one person, next thing you know, the referral stream is just lighting up, and it's like you're not even marketing anymore because your clientele are marketing for you. So my goal is just to get in front of more people who have that large network. So they're referring me to all those individuals. So I think the question was 10 years from now, being flown to work with people in person, on their dime and their budget, travel the world, bringing my family with me, and enjoying it. So for me, I love what I do because ultimately I've always wanted to do something where I had a lot more freedom. I wasn't tied down to having to work in a particular place. So, and being able to set my own schedule also to where, hey, I don't want to work today. I don't want to work on the weekends. Whereas like, hey, I work this time and this time only. If that doesn't work, you either make it work or we just don't work together. And being that authoritative person versus allowing clientele to dictate your schedule, um, and how you do your process. Because ultimately, people are coming to me or coming to whomever because they want a result. So I always tell people, if I can guarantee you the result that you're coming to me with or for, does anything else really matter? As long as we're doing it safe, ethical, and moral. Yeah. Okay. Well, just trust the process.
If people are, what advice do you have for people that maybe are hesitant about hypnosis and maybe they want to have a reading done or they want to reach out to a hypnotist, but they're kind of hesitant about it? What advice do you have for them on how to be comfortable when it comes to this practice and kind of put their minds at ease a little bit?
Yeah. I have a free live recording of a hypnosis session. So I tell people, hey, watch it. If you're apprehensive, hesitant, or you're fearful of it, watch the video. This is exactly what a video is going to entail. Now, the the content obviously is going to be different because it's going to be a different person and we're going to be discussing different things, but the context of it is going to be the same. We're both just going to have a conversation. So you can, and I've had people reach out to me and they want it, and I realize what they want to do is they're trying to break down exactly what I'm doing, and I tell them it's fine, you can do that, but that's not going to help you because when you have a session, things are going to be different for you. So I have those recordings on my YouTube channel for people to watch. And I encourage people. I even tell people, hey, before you even work with me or apply to work with me, go to my YouTube. I tell people go to my YouTube channel first, look at my videos, watch my videos, binge watch them, and then go to my website and apply to work with me from there. So that's ultimately the best thing to do. And I tell people that because even if they read up on it, it's not going to do them justice. And I even sent an email out to my email list saying exactly what I just said to you, Noah, which was, hey, I can sit down and have an hour-long conversation about hypnosis and hypnotherapy and dissect it and break it down, but it's not going to be as beneficial as you actually just watching a live hypnotic session. That would be the best thing to do. So that way you have a better idea of it. And ultimately, when people do that, they feel more at ease and less guarded, which is good.
I've always been a thing about hypnosis. I've always had a thing for it. I've told this story multiple times, but I'll share it again. But it was when I was in high school, we had this hypnotist come to our class, and he actually did a whole session with our whole everyone in our county, and we had a lot of the schools in one auditorium, and he was just doing this show, and I wanted to be hypnotized so bad because I was always kind of like, I don't believe it's real. So I tried to, and then of course right in the middle of it I had a cough attack and couldn't do it, so I was like, fine. But it was fun watching other people get hypnotized, and it was fun watching people do it. I said, oh, this is way more entertaining to me. I'm more of the like the, oh, I'm a observer. I like to watch it, but I kind of do want to like do be hypnotized, but I'd like to do it like one on one and not have groups of people because I don't want them to let me do stupid shit. I don't want y'all to make me do stupid stuff and all this crap. But um, if people are interested in maybe reaching out to you and if they would like to do a one on one hypnosis therapy, let me get my words out. If they would like to do a session with you and maybe would like to maybe learn more about hypnosis, where can they find you at and stay connected with you?
Yeah. So two things: my website and my YouTube channel. My website is deronsingh.com, DERONSINGH.com. You can go there. You can apply to work with me. I would say the first place to go is going to be my YouTube channel, which is at Deron_Singh. And to rewind on what you said also about hypnosis, hypnosis is natural state of mind. So one thing you mentioned, I made a note of it because it's very important for anyone who watches to hear is even if you don't believe something doesn't mean it's not real. So sometimes people are like, oh, I don't believe in hypnosis. Well, it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not because it's actually a real thing for us because hypnosis is a brainwave state where we get really, really relaxed. So, and sometimes people ask, hey, can anyone be hypnotized? The answer is yes. Anyone can be hypnotized because everyone goes through hypnosis on a day-to-day basis. Hypnosis, like I said, is just a altered or not altered, but a lower brainwave state. So if you're ever in this trance where you kind of feel like you're just zoned out, that's a hypnotic state. Where you feel like you're just in a date, if you daydream, that's a hypnotic state. So we all do it on a day-to-day basis. We do it before we go to sleep. We do it once we wake up. So it's a natural state. I just get people into that state from a therapeutic setting. And sometimes people talk about, oh, I don't want to do stupid shit. Well, what some people think of hypnosis, they think of it as stage hypnosis, which is like entertainment. So
Yeah.
if I were to do stage hypnosis, yeah, I'm gonna get you on stage, no one make you cluck like a chicken because it's funny, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't do stage hypnosis. I primarily do therapeutic hypnosis or hypnotherapy. So that would be you coming to me because of a particular issue. Let's say it's confidence. You want to become confident. Okay, great. We're going to work on that. Not getting you to cluck like a chicken or quack like a duck.
Well, I think any kind of therapy is so beneficial, and I think a lot of people would find benefits from it. I'll put his links in the description below about his website. I'll put the YouTube channel down there as well so that you can watch some of his videos of what he's done so far. And if you would like to learn more about that, I'll put his other socials down there. Deron, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing this kind of therapy with me and this hypnotherapist with my audience because I think it is something important that a lot of people need to know about. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to sit down with me and have this conversation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And thank you, No, for hosting this. And yeah, once again, I appreciate it.
You can also follow me all on social media as well, Instagram and TikTok at Lethal Venom Podcast, as well as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Noah's Podcast. And as always, feel free to watch the podcast or listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from on all the major platforms: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Pandora. It's everywhere, so feel free to subscribe to where you get notified when new episodes drop. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and week. Be safe, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Lethal Venom.